Welcome to the EU LCS post-game lobby for a closer look at today's action. I'm Drakos here with Vedius and Foxdrop. Now, Maxlore will be joining us shortly, but I like Sencux's answer there right at the end. Are you the best? Asks Pyra. Give me more information. Yes, says Sencux. Nothing else. That is an alpha move. You can tell this man is feeling himself. He doesn't need to provide any context.
These guys went so wild with their draft. They picked a tank top laner. They picked kind of like an assassin bruiser mid. They then picked an AD carry.
What?
In the AD carry position.
Do you mean AD carry like Aurelia or Darius?
No. He had ranged attacks. He scaled.
Like a Heimerdinger then?
No. He scales with attack
Zoe.
damage.
I don't understand. What is that? What is that?
And
stat?
they put him with a support that defends champions. And then they brought this out and they executed it well. It was almost like you can play normal meta stuff and wacky meta stuff.
I like it. Now, we're going to get a chance momentarily, Vedius, to break down that draft with the man himself, to talk about some of these oddball picks, for sure. But first, I want to hit the predictions, because not everything went according to plan for a few members of our team. Now you can check in on some of this.
3 out of 2 I'll take, considering my previous.
3 out of 2.
Wait, what's that on the right, Foxdrop? Who's that on the far right?
Yeah, you fluked your way into that one, mate. I saw, yeah, whatever. Pure fluke, buddy.
I will openly admit, last week on PGR, I looked at the matchup, and my gut just said, Rocket's going to win.
All right, so we need a Vedius's column, we need a Vedius's gut column.
Yeah.
Also, hi, Maxlore. Welcome. How you feeling, brother?
Hello, lads.
Looking good, looking fresh.
Cheers.
There's the Vedius highlight moment. Would you have predicted Rocket, Maxlore? That's my question, because Vedius is the only man to predict Rocket to win the Rocket Vitality matchup.
Rocket Vitality? Oh.
Would you have predicted Rocket?
I think that's a hard one, because Rocket generally just really, if Memento pops off, he'll carry the game alone. Sometimes he just doesn't pop off, though. So really, you probably like got a coin in the morning, flipped it.
Yep.
Fair enough.
That game could have been won multiple times. Like that, Trundle was 6-0 by like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I saw.
So they should have won at that, and then they threw, and then Vitality should have won, and then they threw, and then, yeah, so like that game could have gone either way.
Back and forth.
It was
little throw in, little catch in, win pretty well.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your game, Maxlore. Now, already, Vedius was amazed at this foreign draft that you put together in the new meta, but I think we beat that horse, that horse to death. Beat that horse to death. Yes, we have. But tell me your thoughts on the draft, on Misfit's approach right now to drafting, because it does seem, it feels weird to say unique when it's standard from what we know previously, but you guys do seem to have a more unique approach than a lot of the teams in the league.
I don't know, we just go with what works with us, and I think Lucian is finding this meta where you go different bot lanes. I think you can still play many different champions in the bot lane. Like, it's not like AD carries are dead. I don't know why these people are memeing that it's dead. If you play like Hansama, then they're definitely alive, right? But you can also play these mage type or Mordekaiser or whatever, right? So it's fun meta.
It's interesting. I think the pick that stood out to me most when, and obviously you guys are going to flame me the second I say this, but Kayn is a pick that I want to talk about. It did very little against you, but I'm curious, is this something that you expected to see in the draft? Was this an oddball that you weren't necessarily ready for?
It definitely wasn't something I was personally expecting, but I knew that Kayn is actually pretty decent into Trundle, and I could see why they wanted to pick it. It sort of made sense. It's just we won early game because Mickey carried the game alone.
Mickey?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you throw your praise over to Mickey?
I played garbage, man. Like, my comms were not that good.
I see.
Yeah, it was just bad.
Which is funny, because when we came into your matchup, we were like, Maxlore is the shot caller.
Yeah.
We rewatched the level 1 where pretty much only you talked.
Yeah.
So sad state of affairs here. The comms suck. Now, Mickey, you say carried the game. The fans voted for Hansama as player of the game. Because not only is he pretty and charming, he plays 80 carries, and really that's special.
He's also pretty good at them. He's also pretty good at them.
No, but you know, if you get Hansama, we all know as a team that even if you deserved MVP, no matter what, if Hansama is on the Twitter votes, he will always get the vote. It's so unfair. Yeah, this man right here.
Look at him.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do. Like, I can try to carry the game alone. You know, I could like get that really high DPM, but it doesn't matter because this guy's got like, he's played Draven for 5 years. And so he's got that last hitting mechanic really up to scratch when it comes to kills.
Did he die this game?
Honestly, I don't know.
He did so,
once,
but his KDA is still fine then. He still has the highest KDA in the league as well.
Foxy, you had a chance to vote. You tried to vote for Trevor's Lungs. I want to recap.
They deserve
who
the
did
vote.
Who did you vote for player of the game in this game?
Honestly, I felt like, well, I'll answer your question in a sec, mate, because I'm gonna shield myself first. I felt like your whole team was like, there wasn't one massive like, this geezer deserves MVP for me. You were a really good team. But I went for Alfari because I was like, well, I feel like Hans Sommer was a product of a good team for me. And
Mundo was a product of 3 tank items.
Yeah, basically. I just liked what Alfari was able to do and just, I don't know. But I honestly, it was such a team game for me. I feel like it was so hard to pick just that one MVP. It was really a toss-up to an extent.
When in doubt, just pick on Summer.
Yeah,
just follow the trend.
Words to live by Twitter, remember that. All right, well, let's take a look at the standings. Misfits and G2 at the top of the league. Misfits coming in hot, 3-0, looking good. It's a similar story for G2 right now. And, of course, Fnatic and Rocket actually bringing it up along with Team Vitality. Standings are changing quickly. It's starting to feel a little bit like spring, and then there's not any really clear 100% top team outside of G2 and Misfits right now.
There are very clear top teams right now. I would say that those two are definitely the top teams.
Do you think they're head and shoulders above the rest?
Yes, significantly so.
Maxlore, do you agree with that? Do you feel like you and G2 are miles ahead? Or is it just Misfits, maybe, that are miles ahead?
I don't know, because I think we can play good, but like for example today, I think some of us didn't do our jobs, but other people like just step up, and I want a game where all 5 of us do like actually we've done that. Sorry, I'm just trying to shit. We're a good team. Today we
underperformed.
Line,
by the way, you can't nick that line from me. Chat shit's my line. Just gotta throw that one out there.
Stop saying it now, gentlemen. We are a children's show.
What time is it, mate? We're a children's show.
Young people watch. Now, Maxlore, tell us about your team. I think you're great.
I think we're a good team, but we should have played better today. Yeah.
That's fair. All right, yeah, it wasn't the cleanest closeout. I want to talk about a few of the other games today that kind of show up and surprised us. First up, I want to talk about Fnatic. I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see how this team did. They're going to go and watch this VOD, and they're going to see, oh, they can win without Reckless. That's cool.
Broxer got to play the game. He actually got a jungler for a change, and we also saw a couple of carries down bot lane. So I think that the strategy to bring in Bwipo is not a bad one, but I think multiple times now we have seen that you can still play 80 carries in the meta. And objectively, Reckless is a better player in that position than Bwipo is. So I would encourage Reckless to still play because I still think that he can.
We saw that last week, though. We saw that you guys were picking 80 carries last week as well, you know. So it's if they wanted to go for it, and if they can look around, you know, the different leagues in the world as well and see that 80 carries are still working. So if they wanted to draft that, they could have still drafted it last week. And it just makes me wonder why they're not drafting that. Because like you say, they can go for it, but why
For sure. Well, we heard from Youngbuck that from what the teams had scouted that they felt like other picks were stronger in the bottom lane. Foxdrop, do you think this is the right choice? Subbing Reckless out, let's say in this case specifically to play these top lane
picks. If you're not going to play an 80 carry bot, especially, I think absolutely this made total sense. When people were talking about Reckless got benched, so to speak, or that he'd stepped back, maybe would be a nicer way to put it, because it did sound like it was actually his decision. Then yeah, it made total sense. People were saying, "Oh no, Reckless, Fnatic without Reckless is not going to work. It's going to be awful." But I was like, actually, if they're not going to pick the 80 carries bot, take him out. Like it's perfectly fine to do that. But I don't bloody know if they're gonna change it up or not, or whether they're gonna keep the 80, whatever, you know.
To round this out, Max, I want to ask you: when it comes to facing up against Fnatic, are you more scared of a Fnatic with Reckless, with the Bwipo Soaz potential of a swap, or are you more scared of this double top laner Fnatic lineup where they are, let's say, better equipped to play some of the more unconventional meta picks?
I think against Reckless, the draft is more predictable, since they could just swap so many things around, since like you can play the same pick top mid and let's call it bot lane for now, top mid and bot, and so it's harder to draft against them and it's harder to predict how like especially bot lane is going to go in terms of like if your bot lane is going to win or not, since they're not used to playing against these bruisers or whatever. However, with Reckless, I don't know, if this guy goes back on AD and they play the game standard, I think they'll definitely be one of the top contenders again.
We're going to find out if they're a top contender tomorrow. They are going up against Vitality in a very big matchup for the team. Bot lane is something that I want to stay focused on because it does feel like Attila and Jack Troll have been pretty solid. Admittedly, they did lose a game today, but they have looked very good, and they have been kind of the premier adapters, or adopters rather, of this new meta in terms of trying out these creative picks, looking to make unconventional things work. The Lux and Pyke come to mind. How do we think these bot lanes are going to fare if we assume that it's going to be the Bwipo, Hylissang bot lane with these top lane picks? Do you think this is something Vitality can combat? Do you think this is something that they can win?
I think that if Fnatic play the way they played today, Vitality actually stylistically seem pretty good into that team comp. Even though they have adapted pretty well into this, well, because they've adapted pretty well into this meta right now. And I mean, we talked about Fnatic before, and not to harp on them as a team, but if they do want to go back to the more standard bot lane, like we see you guys play, I don't know why I'm losing my voice, but
it has been a long day. But
it has been a long day. But you know, I'm just curious how they go up into that specifically, and whether we'll see that, because I don't think Vitality know when they wake up tomorrow what Fnatic they're going to be playing versus.
I mean, personally, I think Cabochard is overperforming versus expectations, and I think that relative to Soaz, I think that's a possible advantage for Vitality. Really disappointed with Jizuke so far this split. He's now on like 4 ISO deaths, I think, just due to overextending, playing super aggro when he doesn't need to. And I think that's right now the biggest weak point, which I didn't think I'd be saying for Vitality, considering how good he was during the regular season last split. And I think the bot lanes will be pretty standard. I don't actually think there's going to be a huge amount of variation. I think that this will actually be decided by top side of the map tomorrow.
All right, so mid lane, is it a big enough weakness? Do you think that Fnatic can just push through there, that we don't have to worry as much about the top or the bottom lane? You mentioned slight differences with Cabochard overperforming.
I just think Caps is playing better overall than Jizuke is right now. I'm not sure whether Jizuke just hasn't found his champion yet. I know that when the split started, he had a lot of performances on things like Rise. Then he had to go on to Azir and he wasn't as comfortable. Then he found Talir and he started performing again. So maybe he's just looking for the right champions to fit him in the current meta. His Zoe is still pretty good, but it's usually banned away. So I think that could be an essence of why he's struggling right now. But to me, it just feels like that he's still playing in a way in which he did last split, and it's getting punished much more regularly. So I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's just a thing for him to build or something to recognize in the current meta, but I do think there's a bit of a discrepancy in mid lane that they need to respect.
Maxlore, what's your opinion on the current state of Jizuke and then more generally Vitality? How do you feel about this team right now as far as contending with the top teams like yourself and G2 currently, and more specifically Jizuke? What's the deal?
I think what you said about him playing over-aggressive is correct, but the difference is last split, I felt like Gilius was way more around mid lane, giving up his farm to play around Jizuke and get him snowballing, and normally it worked. Now I'd say Gilius is playing more standard, more like a lot of other junglers where they prioritize farm more, and maybe Jizuke hasn't really fit with Gilius, or maybe their comms are not that good in terms of whether he can get ganked or not or whatever. I think that's really the struggle, but in terms of like 1v1 against Caps, I think it should be fine for Jizuke.
That's fair.
All right, I want to see how it plays out, but I do want to lock in some predictions from everyone here. So why don't we start with you, Foxdrop? Fnatic or Vitality tomorrow? Who's actually going to take it?
It's a tough one to call. I'm going to say... I would think Vitality can bounce back from today.
All right, now predicting in the favor of the Bwipo bot lane. Vedius, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty confident Fnatic will take the win tomorrow.
Maxlore, you're the tiebreaker, buddy. What do you think?
I think Fnatic will win.
All right, 2-1 in favor of Fnatic. Now you're the edgy boy, right?
Yeah,
if they do win, you get to look like the cool kid, like Vedius did today when he predicted Rockhat for some reason
on PGL, and I got forced into it because
you had to shake on it, or you would have changed. I know you would have gotten out of that. But Maxlore, you're here, and we're decided to unveil a new special game that we're going to play on the post-game lobby. It is called Pick a Card.
Okay.
I hope you're ready.
Show me your cards.
Bam.
It's all in the cards.
All in the cards, baby. So here's the deal. 3 different players are behind these cards. I want you to pick a card. The player will be revealed, and then I want you to tell us everything you think about that player. Good, bad, unfiltered. Let it all out.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, I mean...
I thought this was a child's game.
Unfiltered, content, but like maybe healthy, wholesome vocabulary. How about that? Can you work within those constraints?
I can't make any promises.
All right, bro. Let's pick a card: blue, red, yellow, stun, mana, slow, as Vedius calls them.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was thinking like the obvious choice is yellow, but maybe I want to be edgy, you know. But let's go with yellow.
Yellow card it is. Show me what we got.
Holy moly.
Maurice.
Are they all junglers, by the way?
Amazing Stuckensteiner. They are. I believe it is 3 junglers. All right.
Oh, God.
Let it out. What do you think? How's Maurice doing? How's he doing on Schalke? How do you think he compares to the other junglers
What do you think of
currently
his
in the
hairstyle?
ULCS?
Everything.
Didn't he get a haircut?
I think
like,
so.
this is not his real hair.
No, so to be fair, he's been going for this long hair pretty boy thing for a while, and it's kind of coming to fruition because it was in that rough middle ground during the LCS when he was a caster 2 months ago. So
he's worked on it.
The hair is there. Wasn't my first priority for a conversation topic, but thank you for that, Vedius.
Well, I mean, I didn't see the games today. I think the way they played around against G2 last week in the early game was, holy moly, was really good. Man, that's hot. That is so hot. Like, can the stream see that? Whoa, he's even pouting with his lips. Whoa. Oh, what's he doing with his hand? Oh, no. Oh, the pride, the Schalke pride.
I'm just getting flashback to Silence of the Lambs.
That's not cringe at all, mate. Oh, he's giving. Do I just describe this?
Can you give us a running commentary,
guys?
Max?
Pick a card is dead. It's not play-by-play video highlights from players. I'm joking. Tell me about Amazing. Put it away, production.
That's so distracting.
So distracting.
Look at this. Okay, well, basically, I think in terms of proactivity in the early game, he is providing more to Schalke than what Schalke had last split. Oh my god! But I think I don't know. I don't know how they lost today. Last week they looked really good until they gave Baron away.
What did you guys ask for this to happen? Whoever filmed this, what kind of directions are you giving this guy? Like, what do you reckon came out?
Wait, haven't you got one of these too?
Yeah, I do, but we don't.
Definitely do. Because I've seen him screaming into the microphone like.
This is the worst analytical segment we've ever made because all we've talked about is player shots. Maxlore, please continue about Amazing, and in the meantime, if we could prep the Maxlore stuff to put
that would be great.
But first, Amazing, please, before your footage inevitably comes up.
Basically, as I said, he's more proactive. I think Schalke looked great last week, apart from that one moment. Actually, no, they didn't look great. They lost the early game once. They won the second early game, but they lost.
They threw the game because they forgot Baron.
So I guess they are still not that they are just inconsistent. They're like misfits, spring split. Maybe.
But you've played against Amazing now, like for a while, I would imagine, either in scrims, maybe solo queue, even when he was a caster and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you must have some kind of. That's true as well. You must have some opinions on him as a player through your now 2 years of competitive LCS.
I think the last time I played him in competitive, he wasn't that great. I think he's now better. He's fine. He's not like a complete smurfer, but he's fine. And you can see that he tries to do stuff and he is extremely proactive, sometimes too proactive, and gives up quite a lot of farm. So if your laners don't int it, you just auto-win the game, kind of.
Fair.
I've seen his Reddit kind of stuff, like when he says like carrying should be caring and stuff like this. I think that's...
You don't agree?
I don't know. It's just weird.
Is this the new era of? Do you remember the Febivin books? He's not in EU anymore, so I can blame him a little bit for this. Sorry, Febivin. This feels like the new era of Febivin books, just a little bit to me. When he's like, "All right, carrying not important, caring."
Yeah.
This is the wholesome US reminder. If you think this is a children's show, this is the moment right here. Caring is carrying.
I feel like now he's just speaking up for all those people that have been like not in the spotlight, you know, caring for their teams, and now suddenly it's just going to be like Gilius from Vitality being like, I'm a carer too, man. I'm a carer. Give me some spotlight, give me some attention. And every other team, and it's just going to be the summer split of caring, you know?
How much do you care, Max?
I don't give a
This is why Hansama gets all the votes, because he looks like he comes off stage and he just wants to cuddle all of you. Does he do that? Does he just hug you on stage?
No, he doesn't actually.
No?
He's actually really... I don't want to leak actually. Like, it might ruin his branding, you know. Whatever you think Hansama is, what kind of... I don't know what his 50,000 followers think he is, but... Yeah, just keep thinking him that way.
He's a happy manga artist. He loves League of Legends.
He is actually really good at drawing.
He is.
Yeah, I can't wait for his anime that's going to come out soon.
This somehow turned into the the Hans Sama story.
It always does.
It always does.
This is the player of the game
Misfits
vote all over again.
You think of Misfits and you think of Hans Sama. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I think Worlds, I think Hans Sama carried. You know, we think regular season, Hans Sama's been
all
on
right,
the top.
you two aren't allowed to sit next to each other anymore. I need a little something from you, and that is, because we've derailed this completely, I need you to play. I need you to play. No, stop. Foxdrop, look at me. Now's your time to shine. Play-by-play this. Give me the rundown.
Mate, I'm a color, not a play-by-play. I don't know what
Give
to
me
say.
this. Foxdrop, flex your roll.
Wait for me, Maxlore.
Wait. It's coming. It's a nice beard. I'll give you points for that. That's a decent beard.
good.
You're missing a bit on the chin. I could improve. If we came
I got like a bit of a dot there.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I don't
That's
do
all we got. We got a minute and a half
got a
of
tease.
amazing.
We got a
Okay, all right.
We don't need any more.
I need a bit
don't
more,
need
honestly. I need a little bit
Let's not talk about this.
All right. Well, thank you for the light conversation surrounding Amazing and the abundance of conversation surrounding Hans Sama. I mean, how great is he, right?
He is
So great.
He's so good. He's so cute. He's so hot. He's so talented.
But he is French.
And he's also going gym. He's so strong. Like he's so smart.
Wow.
He's so fast.
Does he have an Instagram?
Yeah, he does actually.
Oh my God.
Do you know what it is?
I actually don't, but I do follow him.
We can find that out later. Misfits Twitter can share it. I'm sure someone will clip this. All right, Fnatic versus Vitality. It's our final game of the week, but there's plenty more action coming up before that. And if you want to watch Hans Sama, you can do it in Game 3, H2K versus G2, or maybe you're more interested in Amazing with the maybe 5
Game
sentences.
2.
Game
No,
2.
it's Hans Sama against Giants. Tomorrow's schedule.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, I
yeah,
said
yeah.
G2. You're right. Game 2,
yeah.
not Game 3.
Yeah.
I mix up the top teams. You know,
it's fine.
your logos just both.
Ooh, first game is interesting one.
Yeah. So which one stands out the most here to you guys?
I think first game is the closest. I think Splice v UOL. I actually kind of give the slight edge to UOL, only because I think they've picked up the meta a little faster than the Splice have.
Did you think you would be saying that coming into the season?
No.
Yeah.
I thought Splice had, like, to me, it just feels like Splice will get better later. I think they've proved that. But a part of me thinks, and I don't know how warranted this is, but they've been playing for a really long time. And I think that when the meta changes as dramatically as it has, it just takes a little bit longer to adapt and change because the change is quite drastic all across the board. And so everyone now has like different roles and responsibilities. Whereas you look at Misfits, it's just full of young players. They're all young, springy,
Look at that beard. You're calling this geezer young.
But
What's up with
I think
that?
that they just like a part of that is just the willingness to adapt and willingness to change. It's like a mindset thing. And so I do think that Splice are just slowly changing, whereas like other teams like Misfits and G2 are just, and Vitality are just very quick to, yeah, I'm willing to try new stuff, I'm willing to change, and it's making it work.
I also want to see, I think Splice UL is pretty interesting, but I am going to counter what you're saying
Go on.
and say that they've come up against pretty good teams, honestly.
That's true.
Misfits, G2, Vitality.
Yep.
Not bad teams. Honestly, looking like the top 3 teams in the LCS. Arguably looking like the top 3 teams in the LCS. So even though Splice are a 0-3 team, and I feel like if they have weaknesses, they are going to be pretty on display against those teams.
Yep.
So maybe we haven't seen what, Splice are not looking great, obviously, but they are against pretty strong teams. So maybe they'll look better against someone like UL.
Well, I'm excited to see how it develops now over in Los Angeles. NALCS Academy as at midnight with Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians. Remember that we're having a rebroadcast of the EULCS after the last game in North America. So be sure to turn to that if you missed any of the games today. But that is all from us here in Berlin. Thank you so much. Join us for more action tomorrow in the EULCS. We'll see you guys then.
Look in the camera, look sultry, and wink.
Hit him with the amazing.
Did they do it? I don't know. I
don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I did it.
I hope you did it.
I had a twitch in my eye, so it looked like it.
He has one chance to go over the wall, and Giants are not keen to give it to him, but they're facing some time, and it's going to get stolen! Cole says, nice to meet you, and thank you very much! But he flashes right behind his best buddy, throws in the Mega Inferno bomb, insult to injury, baby! And that's going to be a shutdown! Are we going for the ace? And there's the ace! Woo! Now Jizuke coming back to the mid lane, and with Gillies he's going to equalize, but the chaos isn't over yet. Memento flashes forward, takes a bite out of the Scorpion, and he's looking for Jizuke as well. Will Rocket come out ahead? Even North Scarage joining the fun, and that's a triple kill from Momentum. Profit really low here, so is the Baron. Here comes Jacktroll. Looks like they're going to find the damage. Gilius, can he be the hero? He's stealing that away! Gilius! Rockets still lead the charge, and that's going to be one blade search and a second one, and Blank is coming up big on this. As a Perks with another one. Yeah, Perks goes in. Enko ends up with the final shot. But Vander about to fall down. Nuke Duck desperately trying to get back to his base. That's the triple kill for Perks. His look clean as clockwork. Maybe a fire.
Yes, I'm happy.
You better let me have it. Down goes Vizichachi and the penta for Perks.
Roxa is looking for this top lane gank here.
Right, let's take a look. Darkness is the call. Roxa's chasing in.
Screen Smitty J picks up a kill out of the tower. Here comes Cat. There's a party. Everybody's invited. And for the time being, everybody's going to die.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. Good job.
The Fnatic obliterate H2K. Not going to die just yet. Unbolt Trespass not going to be enough to take down Zedgex. He manages to get one. Here comes Mickey. Double before he's taken out.
Nice.
Alfari's taking everybody.
What do you do against that?
A cleaver to the face of Kasing. Turns his attention to Kobe. Kasing and Kobe watch their nexus go down. And Misfits remain undefeated in summer.